Good morning, YouTube. Today we're going to review the Clown Shoe.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan, and right behind me is a 1999 BMW M Coupe, which is commonly called the Clown Shoe because of its shape. It is a shooting brake, so it's a two-door hatchback. Kind of an unusual design. Not a whole lot of cars that have this design, but it's one of those things that you either love it or hate it, and I personally love it. So let's do a review of this awesome car. I actually really am a fan of the M Coupe. Now, part of it is nostalgia. So when I was younger, my brother, when he graduated from college, he actually bought one of these to kind of reward himself for graduating college and getting a real job as an engineer. So he had one of these, and it was a really cool car, and he had it in the blue color, which I thought is just stunning. But we saw this come up for auction, and we just had to get it. It's only got like 22,000 miles on it, and no modifications. And that was the big thing, is finding one of these that hasn't been molested and turned into some awful, horrible thing is super challenging. So let's walk around it, show you everything that's good or bad about it, and then take it out for a drive. It's been a long time since I drove one of these, and I don't remember. I want to see if it's as good as I remember, or is it not as good as I remember, because this was, yeah, probably 15, 20 years ago.
Yes, the M Coupe. I absolutely love these little things. Now, they have this cool hatchback, and of course, the design of the rear is very unique to this car. Once you pop it open, you'll see it actually has quite a bit of space. You can fit a decent amount of stuff in here, and this one still has the cover, so you can actually cover up all your cargo, and it has the divider net. Now, I guess that's, if you stack stuff up so I don't know, it doesn't fall on your head. Pretty good amount of trunk space. Like I said, my brother used to carry his dog in the back of this thing. Got some speakers, and you pop open this little hatch right here. You can see there's the battery, some tools, the tow kit, and well, it looks like the jack is missing. Yeah, really cool to see a hatch on a sports car, in my opinion. I love hatchbacks. Got a scuff there on that right rear wheel, a little bit of dirt on that wheel, but otherwise I don't think it has any signs of damage. Right there we got some scrapes on the front bumper. Looks like it filled in some paint chips. Right there's a paint chip. They didn't have PPFs back then, so having paint chips on the paint is pretty typical of any car from that era, unless it's been repainted. So if it's been driven, they're going to have paint chips. And this one, well, it has some paint chips. Otherwise, the paint's in really quite decent shape. Curb rash, stuff that could be taken care of if you really want it to be absolutely perfect. But the side of the car, basically no paint issues. All right, some more curb rash on the left wheel. And a scrape right there. A paint correction, just a light paint correction, would really do this car a lot of wonders. It would make it look absolutely awesome and really bring out this red paint and have it look really beautiful. Moving on to the interior, I love how light these doors are. They're just nice little tiny doors. Really pretty pleasant seats, good bolsters. They're very comfortable. Classic BMW interior. It's got the classic BMW shift knob. You got all these circular analog gauges that are of the era. Okay, glove box. Yep, got stuff. Looks like the books were in there. But yeah, just the traditional BMW analog gauges. The seats have these cool ribbing in them. Kind of has a nice look to it. Just a good materials. You got the sunroof. And yeah, so it's just a wonderful, awesome car for the late 90s.
All right, let's curl in. Okay. All right. M Coupe. Got all the keys. All right, clutch in and starts right up. 21,445 miles on it right now. Now, one thing I love about these cars is they're tiny. I love smaller little cars that can just kind of zip around. I'm gonna roll down the windows at first. Oh yeah, shifting's really nice and smooth. Clutch is very light. Feels really easy to drive. So I'm already digging that. It's got a good feel to it. Steering's a little heavy. It's a little bit slow steering ratio. It's not a super quick, tight one. I mean, look, I can turn the wheel pretty far and we're not moving a whole lot, but that's all right. Like like that we got some like oil gauge down here, voltage, and a clock. Surprisingly good visibility. Good intake noise. Might have to roll up the windows. Kind of a lot of, surprisingly a lot of window noise. There we go. A little better. Let me turn on the AC just a little. I mean, there's not a whole lot of low end torque, but I didn't really expect that. If I remember right, this is an inline 6. I don't have all the stats. I don't memorize the stats on these cars, so I apologize. I don't really know a whole lot about it. I'm gonna guess it's 3-ish 100 horsepower, maybe somewhere in that range. It's what it kind of feels like. I can kind of heel toe. Actually can heel toe pretty good. The auto response is actually very, very good. It's kind of zippy around these corners. It's got that classic BMW sound to it. A little bit of body roll. It's not super tight. Woo! Sunny. Tiny, tiny little sun visor, if you want to even call it a sun visor. Okay. I mean, it's pleasant in here. The seats are very comfortable. Very, very good visibility. I dig that. Not a ton of room. I mean, you are pretty close to the passenger seat. The handling's pretty decent. You know, it handles these corners pretty good. It's very tossable. I could see where tracking a car like this would be absolutely awesome. Super fun. You know, it's pretty lightweight. It's going to be more of a momentum car than it is a power car. So you're going to have to get used to driving it in high RPMs all the time. Surprisingly, only redlines at about like 6.5, 7,000 RPM. So not tons of RPM to work with, but a decent amount. The manual transmission feels wonderful. Each gear engagement feels awesome. Oh, zebras! What the f? There's zebras there. Cool! Alright, I was not expecting to see zebras in Liberty Hill. Cool! Forgot what species it is, but there's a species in Texas, some sort of exotic animal. There's now more of them in Texas than there are in Africa where they're from because of you know, the zoos or whatever. Like, it's kind of weird. You can actually have exotic animals in Texas with a special license, so a lot of people go get that. So okay, zebras. Let's see how it feels from a first gear run. Yeah, I mean, it could use more torque, but it's not bad, you know? You aren't going to be winning drag races in it, but it pulls good enough. I could see where this would be fun. Super fun on the track. Alright. And away we go. Yeah, you know, that's not bad. Caught up pretty quickly. Clutch is light enough that, you know, you feel like you can really shift it pretty easily, although the clutch throw is pretty far. You got to really kind of move your leg quite a bit. Oh yeah, that's right, it's only a 5-speed. I'm sorry, I thought it was a 6-speed. My bad. I tried to go into 6th gear and nothing happened. It's like, oh yeah, this is old enough that they still had 5 speeds. It's crazy. I can't believe this thing's a 99. I can't believe these cars are that old. God, it seems like I remember when they came out and it was like, oh my god, these are so cool and stuff. I remember when my brother got his, it was like so cool. It's definitely not as fast as I remembered it. I guess because everything back then was just slower than they are today. So, you know, back then it felt like it was so fast. Oh my god. Now I'm like, yeah, alright. I mean, it's fast enough. It's fun. It's a fun car to drive. It's definitely not knocking my socks off and wowing me like, whoa, holy shit, it's so fast. But it does have very good handling. The handling feels excellent. This is kind of like a super nice S2000 with the hatchback. The S2000s, although the S2000 felt way more gutless than this. This feels like it's actually got a little bit of torque, and it actually has torque in a lower end. Like S2000 doesn't have anything until it's way up there in the RPMs. This thing, 3000 RPM, torque starts to build up pretty decently. You can actually feel it, and it actually starts to move. Like right there, that was pulling pretty good. If I slam it down, oh yeah, there's actually torque here. So we're at 2,500 RPMs. If I downshift to third, so it's at 3,000 RPMs. Quite a bit more punch to it. All right, let's try downshifting to second. Okay, so second gear, 4,000 RPMs. Way more punch. Yeah, so it really builds up the power as you get into higher RPMs. Man, yeah, it's still a bit of a momentum car. I'm pretty impressed. There's really no rattles or squeaks or cricks in here. And these are fairly rough roads. These are Texas chip sealed back roads, and I'm totally, it's totally quiet. I don't have the radio on, and see right there some big bumps. No rattles. Especially for being this old of a car, that's really impressive. So pretty good build quality. This is back when BMW was actually like making good cars. Cars that you actually want. No offense to anyone that drives a BMW right now. Just feel like they lost their way. Yeah, good handling. Yeah, zipping around these corners. Oh yeah. Decent amount of feedback. A little bit of play where it's got a little lag between the input in the steering and the actual result. So it's like just, older cars just don't have the world's best suspension compared to modern stuff, but it's pretty decent. Alright, here we go, another little power run. This guy's staring at me like, what are you doing? Don't worry, bro, I wasn't even going that fast. Yeah, long throw on the clutch pedal is probably my only complaint so far. That's kind of a little bit annoying. It's not bad though. It's completely manageable, completely tolerable, and you don't have to push it all the way. I think maybe it's just the end point of it might need to be adjusted to not let it throw so far, because I don't feel like you have to push it all the way to get the gears to disengage or engage. The engagement point's up kind of midpoint, but the engagement point's actually pretty solid. It's a really good spot for it. Everything else fine. The handling's fine. The AC's working great. I like the sound of these cars. These old inline sixes sound wonderful, even though it's not very loud. I wish it was a little bit more sound, especially when you're kind of holding it in the higher RPMs. It handles the rough road good. I'm comfortable. Seats feel good. No driving fatigue. Super zippy. I mean, this is just a fun car. This is the kind of car that Meg would just love. I mean, other than the fact it's got a manual. If it had a automatic, she would be in love with this car, because she loves hatchbacks, she loves smaller cars. So I could see where she would just be absolutely thrilled to have something like this. Oh, I could see having a lot of fun in this car. It's a little bit unassuming, it kind of flies under the radar. It's not like it's a super flashy car. I mean, it just kind of looks like a nice little BMW, although this being in bright red probably does get some attention. Brakes feel great. Everything about it. I'm very pleased. This is just a wonderful older car. I'm glad I got to drive one, as now that I've driven all sorts of cars. It's definitely not as awesome as I remembered it, but it is certainly a lot of fun. Whew! There we go. Well, I'm pleased with it. Yeah, it's interesting because when you drive a car that you drove when you were younger and then drive it again when you're much older, and it's been a long time since the last time you drove one of them, a lot of times it's very disappointing, or it's not like how you remember it and stuff. And I have to say, I'm very pleased with this. It drives very good. It's not as powerful as I thought it was when I was younger, but I hadn't driven 500-600 horsepower car. So like 300-ish horsepower was a lot back then, and it was a lot when I drove one of these back then. So it's just totally different experience, but it's super fun, wonderful handling. I love the car. I love the look of these cars. I love the styling. I love the sound of it. It's a wonderful car. I am a huge fan of these cars, so I hope you guys are too. Hope you like this. It's for sale through our dealership, NG Supercars, so check it out. But we appreciate you guys' support. Check out normalguysupercar.com. There you can buy parts and services from us and use the code NGS10. It hooks you up with 10% off most of the things we sell. All right, you guys, we'll see you in the next video. We're going to be doing a lot of cool car stuff, so you're going to want to stay tuned. It's going to be sweet.